Buen día, a nombre de Pronabec les damos la bienvenida a esta edición de la Feria Universitaria Beca Generación del Bicentenario. Les informamos que las preguntas que surjan durante esta exposición serán recopiladas por nuestro equipo técnico y les alcanzaremos a nuestro expositor en los minutos finales. En esta oportunidad nos complace en anunciar la presentación de la Universidad de Oulu en Finlandia y nos acompaña su representante, el señor Sergei Kopinin, a quien le damos la bienvenida. Tomando en cuenta que esta universidad es de habla inglesa, la exposición será en ese idioma. Good morning, Mr. Sergey. Welcome to our fair and thank you so much for accepting our presentation. You can go
Thank you so
ahead
much for
now with
having
your
me.
presentation. Go ahead,
Thank you so
please.
much. Yes, just give me 5 seconds to share my screen and I'll be good to go.
Okay.
Hopefully you can see my slides now.
You are live right now. We can see it.
Yes, perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my presentation. I'm here connecting live from Oulu, Finland. In case you don't know where this is, it's all the way up north in Finland. We're located about 120 kilometers away from the Arctic Circle, and we are the biggest university in Northern Europe. We're called the University of Oulu, and our motto is Science with Arctic Attitude, as you can see on my slides, and I'm going to speak to that a little bit later. But first, let's go through the content of my today's presentation. So I'll do my best to cover as much ground as I possibly can within this 15 minutes which I have, and I will try my best to go through 5 different topics. The first one is the University of Oulu in brief. I'm just going to introduce you to the University of Oulu, what we are, what we stand for, what kind of disciplines do we have, and why should you care. Second one is strategy and focus areas. So I'm going to speak to how our strategy connects to what we do and also to our studies, which you're probably interested in hearing about. Then the third topic is faculties and study programs. This is probably the most important for those of you who are interested in studying in Finland. Then the fourth will be tuition fees and scholarships, where I'm going to go through the schemes we have for our students. And last but not least, I'm going to speak about our community and the city, because we all know how important it is to like the city you're living in, right? While studying, that is. So first, I'm going to go through what University of Oulu is and where it's located. As I already briefly mentioned, we are located here, all the way up north, really close to Arctic Circle, and really close to Sweden, Norway, and Russia. And don't let it scare you off. Yes, it's all the way up north, but it's super easy to get there, and it's not too far away from Helsinki. As you probably know, Finland is not such a huge country. And we are very multidisciplinary and very international university. As you can see on my slides, we have 8 different disciplines here, and we have everything from biosciences to education. And the interesting thing about our university is that all the campuses and all the disciplines are being located in one single campus, except for medicine, which is located next to the hospital, which makes a lot of sense, right? But our campus is the biggest in the north of Europe as well, and it's an indoor campus, so it will take you about 40 minutes to walk from one end to the other, which is quite special. You don't have to go outside if you don't want to. Then we have over 13,000 students. We have almost 3,500 members of staff from all over the world, and a lot of alumni, 65,000 plus. Here are some key figures about our university. So we're officially in top 3 of the world's universities based on the rankings, and we are also research intensive, which means we publish a lot of research, and also we award a lot of master's degrees and bachelor's degrees on a yearly basis. And also we have quite a lot of spin-off companies, which result from the research done in our research units, and invention disclosures. We had 36 in 2020, just to give you an example. Then I'm going to speak to the rankings. We are ranked in all the most well-known university rankings in the world. And the ranking, the trend right now is that we're going up in almost every single one of them, which is very good, all thanks to our strong community of students and researchers. You can see these numbers on the screen, and I'm sure those rankings sound familiar to you. Then I'm gonna quickly go through our international cooperation, because you probably want to know what can you study here, and also if you can go on exchange while studying, for example, for your master's. And the answer is definitely yes, because our partnership network is really, really wide. And as you can see from the numbers on my screen, we have a lot of partners. and our Erasmus network includes over 500 partnerships, which means that you can go pretty much anywhere in the world via our university by studying at the same time. And we have quite a lot of international students. It's about 1,060 at the moment, and we have about 450 exchange students every semester. And they're also coming from all over the world. At the moment, we have over 90 different nationalities in our community, which is really surprising when we think about our location. But I'm going to speak to our location a little bit as well, and I will explain to you why it's so attractive. Then I'm going to speak to the university community values and then transition to our strategy. So our community values are based on three different things: creating new, taking responsibility, and succeeding together. In other words, we're striving to innovate and at the same time collaborate between units, because as I mentioned before, our university is really multidisciplinary. Here is the slide about our strategy, which is fairly new. It was first introduced in 2020. And as you can see, there is 5 pillars to it. There is lifelong health, there is sustainable materials and systems, changing climate and northern environment, digitalization and smart society, and understanding humans in change. Those 5 topics are very, very different. As you can hear from the title, some of them are linked to our well-being, some of them are linked to lifelong learning, which is widely researched at our university, and also one of them is linked to the north, because we are all the way up north and we're members in many networks which are connected to northern research and innovations connected to the north. Then I'm quickly going to go through the focus areas and our scientific profile. The focus areas of the research respond to global challenges. Our scientific profile is built on the strengths of our multidisciplinary university, which makes a lot of sense. And after I speak to the focus areas, I'm going to move on to study programs and our faculties. Those topics are obviously closely connected. First one of our strategy points are sustainable materials and systems. On the screen you can see our achievements and goals. The solutions to manage water resources, emission load and its mitigation, industrial residues, material and structure analysis is, for example, among our achievements already, and we have quite a lot of goals we still want to tackle and achieve. And I'm not going to go through this in detail right now, but you can find it all on the website. The second one was changing climate and northern environment. This is a very important topic because we all know that the climate change is real and it's here, and it needs to be researched extensively because this kind of thing needs to be tackled, and our location kind of gives us the unique context as well because of our climate. And you know, there is a saying, what works in the north works everywhere. And that's partially true because of our challenging conditions. And of course, we are researching general topics within this area. As you can see, we have quite a lot of achievements already and quite a lot of goals as well. The third one is lifelong health. Our achievements and inventions include the ones related to fighting obesity, providing treatment options for fibrotic and heart diseases, and novel therapeutic and diagnostic tools for osteoarthritis. And this whole area is heavily based on practical research because, as I mentioned before, our research units and our faculty of medicine and biochemistry as well are both located very, very close to Oulu University Hospital, which is the biggest hospital here in Oulu. Then we have digitalization and smart society, and that's one of our strongest focus areas because Oulu has this reputation of being really advanced in technology. For a reason, I'm going to speak to that in just a little bit as well, but I'm pretty sure that some of you guys who are interested in digitalization and smart technologies heard about 6G research, and 6G research is basically our thing. We have quite extensively launched this research publicly already, and right now I will go ahead and put a link on the chat where you can read more about this, because the topic is really, really wide. For those of you who are familiar with it, know it, and it's just easier if you want to keep track of the research. There is white papers there is something which is going on at the moment, and you can see how wide the 6G network of researchers already is. And also there is information of what 6G can do for you in particular, which is a very interesting topic indeed. Because we all want to know how can we benefit from those technological advancements. And last but not least, we have understanding humans and change. This is a very important topic for the communities worldwide as well, because our research contributes to creation of more sustainable and inclusive world, empowerment of individuals and communities and economies, and building a human-centric digital future, which is a topic, again, partially linked to technology. Now I'm gonna go ahead and jump to education, because probably that's the topic you're most interested in, at least the students who are watching this at the moment. And first I'm gonna start with faculties and study programs. As I mentioned before, we're fairly multidisciplinary, and we have 8 different faculties. We have Faculty of Education, Faculty of Biochemistry and Molecular Medicine, then Faculty of Humanities, Oulu Business School, which is, by the way, AASCSB accredited as well, Faculty of Science, Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Technology, and Faculty of Informational Technology and Electrical Engineering. Now I'm going to go through the English taught we have in each one of those disciplines, so that you understand if there is something for you pretty much right off the bat. First one is Oulu Business School. So their English taught degree programs are Business Analytics, Economics, Finance, Financial Management, Accounting, International Business Management, and Marketing. And you can read more about all of those on the website of the University of Oulu, and I'm going to go ahead and put the address on the chat for your convenience. Yes, now it's there. Then there is an ICT field. As I mentioned, it's one of our strongest ones for sure. And the English taught degree programs here are Biomedical Engineering, then Business Analytics, which also belongs to the ICT and business field, obviously, to Oulu Business School. Then Computer Science and Engineering, Software Engineering and Information Systems, Wireless Communication Engineering, Electronics, and DICE Digitalization, Computing and Electronics. Then next up is Engineering and Architecture. And the English taught degree programs here are Architecture, Electronics, Environmental Engineering, Mineral Resources and Sustainable Mining, Product and Project Management. Then next up is Life Sciences. English taught degree programs are only 2 here, Biochemistry and Molecular Medicine, and Chemistry of Sustainable Processes and Materials. Next up, we have Health Sciences. We have Biomedical Engineering, and then Epidemiology and Biomedical Data Science. And last but not least, there is Education. There is a degree program in Education and Globalization, then Learning, Education and Technology. This is a program which combines ICT and education. It deals a lot with online learning, how people learn and all that stuff. And Intercultural Teacher Education, which is the bachelor's level. Yes, next I'm gonna speak to tuition fees and scholarships. This is probably something most of you are interested about if you're interested in studying in Finland. And here the topic is quite challenging, because tuition fees are somewhere within the framework of 10,000 and 13,000 euros for students who are coming from outside the EU or Switzerland. But we have quite an extensive scholarship program, and I said it's tricky just because it's always dependent on the program you're applying for. Every single program has a different scheme you can apply for, and it kind of depends on what scholarships are available for you. On the slides I put 2 examples just to give you an overview of how it might look for you. Sometimes you have to cover the first year fee yourself, like entirely, and then you have the possibility to get the 70% of scholarship. But this is always when you advance in your studies. If you received 60 CTS, which is half of the master's degree, which is 120, you would be able to receive this scholarship, or you're likely to receive this scholarship. Then the second scheme is, for example, you can also have 70% of your first years covered, and 70% of your second year covered. And this is of course also when you advance in your studies. But now, just to help you a bit more, I'm gonna post a file I see that there is some questions already. I'm gonna tackle them at the end of the presentation if it's okay. And now I'm gonna try sharing the file. Unfortunately, it seems like I can't attach the file. I'll just ask the host then to send you the file after the presentation is over, if it's okay. And the file would have something like that. Just to give you an example, this is our full list of scholarship programs. It's available as a single file because, as I said, it's always different for every single study program we have, and it's better to check the full list, find your program you're interested about, and then read about what scholarship can be potentially available to you. So I'm going to share this document with you later after the presentation, so we'll keep you posted on this one. Next, I'm going to speak to community and the city, because we all know that you're coming to a certain location not just to study, not just to get knowledge, but also to grow your networks, to enjoy life, and enjoying the city and the community in the place you're studying is pretty much a must for your well-being and well-rounded development. And the good news is that Oulu, and the University of Oulu in particular, has a very strong international community. And I'm saying that not just because we have over 90 nationalities studying and working at our university, but also because the internationalization at home and community events are a part of our strategy, and it's also in the action plan for internationalization of our institution. So we take this matter very, very seriously. And many of the international community building events are organized also in close collaboration with students and researchers. And this is something which we're doing on a regular basis. We're always benchmarking, we're always getting feedback, and we're always improving the concept of our events. And again, just to give you an example, I'm gonna put the link on the chat to our biggest internationalization at home event at our university. It's called the Festival of Cultures. It's annual, and last year, obviously because of Corona, it was online. We did it online for the first time ever, but good news for you is that you can actually check the content because it was pre-filmed, and now all the content is available on our website, so you can watch it in your own schedule. It's 28 episodes from students from 28 different cultures, and it's pretty fascinating, really, if you're interested in that kind of thing. And you can also see our students in action. We're really proud of this event. Yes, then I'm gonna speak to the city itself. So Oulu is the 5th largest city in Finland with over 200,000 inhabitants. It has good public transport connections in the city, also to Finland, which is very good news if you want to explore Finland or also potentially travel abroad while you're in Finland. It's fairly easy to do because there's all sorts of transportation available. Buses, trains, high-speed trains. We have an airport, which is also international, so it's fairly easy to go about and around. Then we have lower living costs compared to the capital area, for example, which is definitely good news for students. Also, it's not that challenging to find accommodation, as it sometimes is, let's say, in Helsinki. Then it's the tech hub of the north, which I've already mentioned briefly before. There is a lot of tech companies, and something I still failed to mention is that we have a lot of tech startups as well. So there is a lot of companies which innovate, which create something new, and at the same time there is a lot of companies which are just getting started. So we can't wait what the future holds, but right now our region is one of the quickest when it comes to development. And then we have the extensive integration support services for foreigners, and that includes both our students and our staff who are moving here to work or study. Then a very interesting point is that Oulu was just awarded the title of the European Capital of Culture in 2026. You might have read about it if you read about Finland. It was pretty big news for us. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link on the chat as well so that you can read more about what it means for Oulu and what kind of preparations are being made as we speak, because the preparations have already begun. And anyway, we're a very culture-oriented city. There is a lot of arts, a lot of exhibitions, always a lot of music. So that works super well for us, and we're excited about this. Then I'm going to speak to geographical location. I promise that I'm going to touch upon this topic just a little bit. and why the location shouldn't worry you, that it's all the way up north. You might think it's cold and dark, which it is, of course, but it's also very special. And that's exactly why it attracts a lot of students. It attracted a lot of students in the past and still keeps on doing so. Because we have quite a lot of unique things going on and quite a lot of unique things you can also do with your time outside of your studies, for example. We have endless possibilities to do all sorts of winter sports. We have nightless nights in summer, which means the sun literally doesn't set, like ever. Then we have endless possibilities, obviously, for hiking. During summertime, it's warm and nice, and during the winter time, it's special. It's silence, there is a lot of snow, and you can also see northern lights. And if you're here, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to see them almost every day. It's not such an uncommon thing here. And also Oulu is famous for biking and its biking routes. It was once called the European biking winter capital of Europe, and for a reason, because we have over 800 kilometers of bike routes all over the city, and the fun thing about that is that they're maintained 24/7 and also all year round, which means you can easily bike everywhere during the winter as well, and the roads are always in fairly good condition. Hopefully that got you some overview about the city, and still to give you more information, I'm gonna go ahead and put one more link on the chat to the official website of the city of Oulu in English. So you can read more about the city, what's going on, check our event calendar, and see if it sounds interesting for you. I'm sure it will be. Then I'm gonna say a couple of words about our campuses. We have two campuses, as I mentioned before. So the first campus is huge. You can see from the map here, it's fairly extensive. As I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, it will take you about 40 minutes to go from one end to the other, and you'll go through 6 faculties, which is incredible in winter, for example, because you don't have to go outside if you have a lecture in some other lecture hall. Plus, it also supports cooperation, because researchers can easily travel between each other's offices and also meet on the corridor, and sometimes like unexpected things happen, and that works well for us. And then the second campus is located very close to the hospital, as I mentioned before. So here we have the hospital, the Oulu City Hospital, then we have University Hospital, and here is the campus with the biosciences and medicine and health. So students are always cruising between the hospital and the uni, and they're getting a lot of practice in the actual hospital, which is great. And now there is also planning of the Oulu City campus. It's still a project. We don't have the campus in the city itself, in the center of the city, that is. But the plans are real, and the plans are getting more and more concrete now, and I think that will be a reality in the coming years. So please follow us, and we'll keep you posted on this one for sure. And then at the end of my presentation, before we move on to questions, I would just like to explain what do we mean by Arctic attitude, because I started with that one. And we have this slogan of Science with Arctic Attitude, basically because we're situated close to the Arctic region, and that's the humanity's new frontier. There's a lot of challenges, demanding conditions, it's north, and the conditions we're living in always force people to be inventive and resourceful. And many innovations that have changed the world have their roots here. At the University of Oulu, we just call it Science with Arctic Attitude. And on this note, I want to end the official part of my presentation, and thank you so much for your attention. I hope I was within the time frame, and now will be the time for questions. I think I had one on the chat already. I'm just gonna take a second to read it and do my best to respond. Yes.
But I think you already answered.
Yes, I think I already answered it. Yes, exactly. So we have a very specific scholarship schemes for every single program. There is a scholarship scheme for every single program, but it's so different that it's really the best approach. Instead of me just generally speaking about this right now, just find the program you're interested about, and then find the scholarship scheme which is available for this program. And I'm not sure if we'll succeed with sharing the file I prepared via the chat, but good news is that I have a backup plan. And I have the admissions pages I can link to right now on the chat. And there is also the information about the scholarships, just the same as in the document, so you can easily find it. Just a second, I'm just going to find the right link. So here we go. This is the first one. There is also the information on how to apply and about the scholarships on the same page. And then we have the admissions contacts. I'm gonna also go ahead and put this link on the chat. So if you still have any questions left, we have the admissions team, scholarships, and you can contact them anytime. But please make sure you read the FAQ section first, which is also on the same page I just linked to, because we often get the questions which are already answered in this FAQ, because we tried our best to like kind of cover all the most common questions, and usually people just fail to read it somehow and just contact us. But it's better, it will save time for you too if you just go through it, and I'm sure you'll find your answer. But if not, just contact the admissions team and they will get back to you as soon as they can, I'm sure.
It's so clear now. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all the information you're providing us, which will be very useful for Peruvian professionals interested in studying your institution. Once again, thank you, Mr. Sergey. And we really look forward to seeing you at the next webinar.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me.